everyone? Thrift Behringer here. Georgia, Alabama Sports Live in the CNAW studios. And there he is. He's smiling. He's back. He's always good. It's Big Rich on the beat here for Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. What's up, man?
What's going on, Thrift? Glad to be back here in the studio with you, ready to talk sports.
We got a ton we're going to be getting into locally. Obviously, Columbus United still playing. We'll update that. The Clingstones against Biloxi just happened this past week as they started the second half of their season. We'll talk about that. We've been doing some sitting down with athletic directors, and we'll talk about high school programs as a whole. We were able to do that a little bit on Sports Visions on Friday with some of the schools. We'll kind of rehash the schools we've already done and talk about some of those we got coming up, and we'll talk about how they did the previous year and what we're looking forward to this upcoming year. Starting next week, our high school football preview shows are going to be dropping, and we're going to be having 4 different schools. Each week we'll preview leading up to that ultimate preview show right before the first game of the season, August the 15th, Richard.
I
can't wait for that. So we're going to be breaking down in detail 16 high school football teams in our area we're going to be covering this year, and we may even throw some new ones up that we potentially could be covering. I know you're excited. Football season, it's already here, Big Rich.
Oh, yeah. I am so excited about high school football season. It is just around the corner. And you thought last year was going to be big for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It's going to be even bigger. We're going to have more games, more coverage. We've added a couple of things that to the repertoire. We're just ready to go. I'm fired up about this upcoming high school football season.
So we are presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet, GMC, and Gordy Eye Care. Thank you again to our presenting sponsors, also Kinetic Credit Union. If you're looking to be a sponsor, get your commercial up, get advertising on the hottest thing going sports-wise in the area. All you got to do is reach out to me on Georgia Alabama Sports Live personally at Thrift Behringer, also Rick Beach as well, and make sure you can get to be part of in our advertising as a major sponsor on our show. Man, I can't believe it is that we're already in July. A month has gone by, Rich, in which we were able to do 7-on-7 football, over 25 Summer League basketball games, and on top of it, some sitting with an AD interviews and more breaking news. Just another fast month, and it felt like summer just started, and we're already about to be in August, ready for football season. Time waits for no one, Rich.
Yeah, time really flew by in the month of June. I mean, we had Columbus United games. We've had some breaking news and some things that happened, and not only Summer League, but that 7-on-7 tournament that happened last week. And then we're ready to finish up these interviews with these athletic directors. I mean, we started with several schools like Pacelli, like Glenwood, and we're ready to go. July is here. It's dead week for high school football. And then, we got about a month where, you get ready for those training camps in high school football, and they start putting on the pads at the end of July. And then before you know it, school's going to be back in session.
And I'm telling you this, before the end of summer, we're going to have you padded up against somebody, whether it be a player or it be a coach or maybe a member of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Rick Beach, he's already ready to get his knuckles dirty in the dirt.
I know.
We have you doing an Oklahoma drill versus someone. Maybe that would be entertaining TV and it would go viral, Rich. Maybe what, juke move here? We'll see who's the best athlete.
Possibly.
On Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And I got my money on Chris Gates. That's who I think is the most athletic, and I do not want to line up against him. And I promise you, all these producers, they have been waiting for the moment to run me over for all my demands and how I am. They couldn't wait for the opportunity just to lay the absolute wood down on that. What was it, Pros versus Joes?
Pros versus Joes.
Yeah,
great show.
That's what it would be like me against Chris. He's the pro, I'm the Joe. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back from break, though, we're going to discuss what's been happening locally, which is the 7-on-7 tournament and everything else around here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live from CNAW Studios. We'll be right back after this.
It's a great day for a new Chevrolet from Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take to the road in a rugged new full-size Chevy Silverado with discounts up to $12,500 off MSRP. Or plug into the future with the innovative Chevy Blazer EV. Lease yours today for just $299 a month. That's right, just $299 a month. People from all over the USA are coming to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia-Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible. To be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy, and Gordy Eye Care for your support of Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. And then you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia-Alabama Sports Live.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Jones with the Sports Visions Morning Show for the best in local, regional, and national sports news. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
You can find the Sports Visions Morning Show on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify by typing in the Sports Visions Morning Show and download the Sports Visions radio app right now in your app store today.
Sports Vision 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Here comes more big rigs, loaded with new GMC trucks and SUVs to Glenn Smith in Opelika. Choose from a huge selection of full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,000 off, and enjoy no payments until September. Plug into the future with the exciting new GMC Sierra EV, now with a 36-month lease for just $799 a month. That's right, just $799 a month. Glenn Smith GMC, now celebrating 33 years. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone. Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. We coming. And that's all we got to say about it. Georgia-Alabama Sports Live is coming. Big Rich, Columbus United was on the road again. Finally going to be back at home coming up this Saturday,
Yes.
July the 5th. Thank goodness they're back. It's been a long 2 weeks, but
road trip.
update everyone here in the community on what's going on with Columbus United. I heard Brett teaching the guys. They're getting back on track. They had a very successful trip down to Dothan, and how's everything turning out?
Well, they had a very successful road trip. 2 weeks ago, they started their road trip getting wins over Montgomery United and Tennessee SC. And they also were supposed to have a game against Southern Soccer Academy, but that got rescheduled to July the 2nd up in Marietta because, that was the day where it was like 100 degrees outside, and plus the water line broke in the stadium over there in Marietta. So they're going to be playing that game on the 2nd of July. But they did fall short to Dothan United 2-0. And so right now, that is pretty much going to knock them out of the playoffs. It's going to be mathematically impossible for them to make the playoffs.
man.
I spoke with Coach Brett Teach of the Columbus United FC Soccer Talk last week. In the USL 2, only 2 teams make it into the playoffs. Right now, Asheville SC, undefeated.
They're
9-0. No one's beat. They're one of the best teams in the nation.
in the nation.
And then Dothan United was right there in second place.
So
Columbus
they
United,
needed to win that game.
They
on
needed to
Saturday.
win that game because Dothan United had 21 points. Columbus United FC had 17 points. They needed to win that game, win out, and hope that Dothan United were going to lose some games down the road. I mean, there still was hope that they could make the playoffs, but just the way that USL 2 is set up, that pretty much means that they're not going to make the playoffs this year.
Unfortunately, we hate that for them, but that doesn't stop what it's been. I still think a very successful year too in the new stadium at Memorial. Great job by JD and Alini Hitchcock, Michael Hitchcock, and of course Brett Teach and my cousin Paxton Bush.
Absolutely.
Great job constantly updating the community on what's going on. You didn't feel like you have to go out and search and see who won a game. They were doing a great job on social media updating. We're glad that we were able to be the broadcast partner, Richard, and we're going to hopefully end the season with a bang.
Absolutely.
On Saturday, excuse me.
yeah.
So if I want you to correct everybody watching right now, we got a lot of fans of Columbus United. As of now, you're saying that there's mathematically they're not going to be able to make the playoffs. So after Saturday, is the season done? What is next for this Columbus United team?
Well, after Saturday, and by the way, this Saturday, 7:30 A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium, it's Fan Appreciation Night.
Okay.
It is the final home match of the regular season. They got one more road match. That's going to be on July the 9th against Apotheos FC at Silverbacks Park over there in Norcross, that area. And then the season, unfortunately, comes to a close. Now, these soccer players, I mean, we talked about like this season and how they have done. Carter Berg has just been fantastic. He's got 6 goals leading the team. He had a hat trick the other night against Tennessee SC, and then Dennis Hayes has got 4 goals. But really, the star has been Brino Zanola, who's been just an incredible keeper. This team is young. They're energetic. They've got some, mishaps that happen. I mean, there were some matches. Coach Teach talked about there were some matches if they had a full team, if they had 11, they probably would have won that match because they were playing with 10 men against Dothan United back on May the 24th, and they lost that game 1-0. That game against Birmingham Legion, I thought it sealed their fate. When they were up 1-0 and Birmingham scored 2 quick goals in the 82nd and 83rd minute, they were a man down because of the player for Columbus United. He swatted the ball near the goalie, and they actually awarded the goal. And actually, they awarded a free kick that actually scored a goal, and they gave him a red card. So they had to play a man down, and then a minute later, Birmingham ended up scoring the go-ahead goal. I think that was just a demoralizing loss, and Birmingham and Columbus United FC right now would be tied for 17 points, tied for 4th place. And, of course, Birmingham Legion has the tiebreaker.
And they would only be 4 points back,
Exactly.
too, of keeping up with the Dothans and the Ashfields.
Yeah.
All right. So, unfortunately, Columbus United, their season's going to come to an end. Fan Appreciation Night on Saturday at Memorial Stadium. Kick time is
7:30.
7:30.
Can't wait for that.
Make sure to go down there, show support, come in attendance, July 4th weekend. Get it going at Memorial Stadium with Columbus United. All right, let's move on from Columbus United and talk about the 7-on-7 tournament. So 2 7-on-7 tournaments happened locally in which we had Jordan, Spencer, Shaw, Columbus High, Smith Station, Harris County, and that is it. Columbus, Jordan, Spencer, Harris County, Smith Station, Shaw. 6 schools competed for a right to be a 7-on-7 champion. We got through the early part, which was the round play, and obviously it didn't finish. They got to about 11 o'clock. Round play was done. We were about to get ready for playoff action and bracket action, and the Heat said no. Funny enough, the rest of the week was actually really good weather, and it was nice and a little rainy, but the day that this was scheduled was the hottest day literally of the year, and it felt like 109. So the Heat Index didn't allow us to finish it, but from what I saw, a couple things. One, Smith Station looks like a much more improved team, and they may shock some people, maybe not in wins and losses, but just how competitive they are. And I give that a credit. And again, I tell you, I'm a firm believer in Blair Harrison and what he's building at Smith Station. Spencer, Elijah Fudd is going to be one of the best quarterbacks returning next year.
No question.
And they are going to be one of the best skill set. And Joe Kegler may be one of the best offensive minds we have in our area. Spencer's going to be really good. Harris County, this is not really their forte. They're not known for throwing all over the field and throwing 30 times a game. So it's really hard to kind of measure Harris County as they had one loss, and their loss was to Spencer.
Yes.
They did win 2 other games, but because, again, this is not what they're known for, which is throwing the ball over the field, you saw a team that had some struggles, and I really wasn't the quarterbacks because they were playing a 2-quarterback system. The quarterbacks were throwing dimes. It was the receivers that hit him in the hand. They were just dropping it. So if I'm Tommy Watson, I know what I need to work on this upcoming summer, but I felt nothing in terms of like, oh, Harris County lost to Spencer. Are they going to be down next year? No, you put the offensive line and let them run the football and smash you in the mouth, play defense.
Oh, yeah.
That's a completely different team when it's 11 on 11. And Jordan looked competitive. Columbus, they're still trying to find their quarterback. Spivey looked not bad. But really, Spencer and Smith Station, those were the two teams, and honestly, they were the only undefeated teams that I was really impressed with, Richard. What about yourself?
Well, Shaw went 1-1. Aaron Grant, I think that he's going to be a very special quarterback, a dual-threat quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in our area. I think you give Coach Johnny Gardner another year in his system. I know that Shaw is a playoff team. They've got winnable games in their region. Coach Gardner's just trying to get them back to that level of the early 2000s when we remember Shaw, known as Shaw U, the state champion in 2000, the runner-up in 2006. But it's going to take some time because you're building a foundation, you're building a culture there at Shaw. As far as Columbus, I'm impressed with some of the skill players. I think Coach Peters has got some players there, but Columbus is not known for football. They're known for baseball, lacrosse, volleyball. If they win
flag football,
golf, they win state championships in those other sports. Not known for football, but they still have athletes. They have guys like Grant Geringer. You've got Daniel Smith, who's a pretty good dual threat quarterback. You've got some players over there. I think that you want to see Columbus just get competitive, especially in the region they play in. I'm excited to see. I know the 7-on-7 tournament. We got a kind of a sneak peek of what the skill players are going to look like. And I take nothing away from what Harris County did in the 7-on-7 because they win football games in the trenches. And it's going to show on the field when they get ready to get ready for the next upcoming season.
So we got a little taste of high school football this week and got excited about it, obviously. Yeah. And we cannot wait for this upcoming season. Wait. A lot of question marks. I've heard Calvary's got some big boys coming in, and they're excited. Pacelli's got a new leader, and Smitty Grider, and their offense is going to be totally different than what it's been over the last 5 or 6 seasons under Dwight Jones. You got, obviously, Carver returning as a defending state champion. Central, they reload. They don't rebuild. Glenwood now having to replace those key seniors, but Ryan Nelson in his first 3 years has been excellent. I don't expect anything lower. Harris County, obviously, a great program. So I can't wait for this upcoming year, man.
Russell County as well.
He couldn't
Bryson
wait.
Riggins.
He was trying to mouth it to me.
Because I wanted you to say it, Thrift.
No one needs to say it more than you. And now I kind of want to transition into sitting with an athletic director, say to the programs. We've been able to do quite a few of them. We start off with Pacelli. As I talked about last week, 12 state championships.
Wow.
Unbelievable job in year one of Calvin Thomas, and I expect big things here again. Since that move to the GIAA, Pacelli has gathered over 20, close to 30 state championships since 2022 when they came into the GIAA till now. Unbelievable, and it's shown that this was a great move that was led and spearheaded by Corey Black, and obviously it's just been a seamless transition for Calvin Thomas. Now, moving on from that, we were able to do from Pacelli to then Glenwood. In their first year in the AHSA, Coach Fanning's team, undefeated in football. Hall of Famer coach Dusty Perdue, 20 wins in both girls and boys. And if they didn't, both the teams lose their, I think, in Glenwood's and the girls, Haley Palmore, their most important player. And for the boys, their best player in Braylon Alexander. This team wins the region and makes a deeper run in the playoffs. They just end up having a bad seed. They did make the playoffs, though. Volleyball was very competitive. Softball was competitive, and they won the state championship in baseball. Number 11 for Coach Fanning, 25 in school history. Unbelievable. And Coach Fanning, he was nervous. And we talked about this on Sitting with an AD, and I said, Coach Fanning, if you remember, and I'll give you credit, unbelievable. That call against Valley, which yours truly, Big Rich, was the one that did it. That set the tone for the rest of the season. Because look how it started. They were already detractors. Many people saying, why are you leaving the AISA? It's going to be tougher to win state. Welcome to big boy football, if you will, like the SEC said to Missouri and A&M when they came in 10 years ago. With that said, against Valley, you're down 20-0. It's not looking good. And even though it shouldn't have been all on that game, the fact they were able to come back and win in the fashion they did, it set the tone for the rest of the year. And then you see all the success that they had. And so I know you were proud to be on the call for that game. And I think, obviously, for those who didn't believe that this was the right move for Glenwood, I think you have to come on board now. I think there was no doubt about it. There was no denying it. IISA, no offense, was a watered-down league compared to what it was 15 years ago. This was the right move for Glenwood. This is the right move for the Gators moving forward, and I'm excited they were able to do that. And I think after this first year's success, it kind of proved Coach Fanning was right all along, which I knew in the first place. But when talking with this, he said that moment against Valley set the tone for what was a successful year.
Yeah, and I do want to say that the Alabama Writers Association, not only Glenwood, but Lee Scott, did not award a single vote in the preseason poll for the 3A classification for the AHSAA. And I actually was worried a little bit. Beating Valley was a big win, but then they had to go on the road to take on Elba. And Alvin Henderson, the number one running back in the state of Alabama, the Auburn commit. And they ended up not only winning that game, they won that game convincingly. And then big wins against Randolph County, win over Beulah. I mean, just win after win, and they finished undefeated. And they didn't get to play Wadley. That game got postponed, canceled because of Hurricane Helene. But they still went undefeated in regular season play. Yes, they did lose in the first round to Alabama Christian Academy, but Coach Nelson would tell you that they made a lot of mistakes in that game. But there's the big what if for Glenwood. They're going to be losing a lot of players like Levi Pender. They're losing Mason McCrane.
Right.
They're losing Jermaine Brown. And I think that it's going to be a learning curve for Glenwood this upcoming season because a lot of starters they have to replace.
It will be I don't know about a learning curve. I honestly think that this team and under Coach Nelson is going to be so successful as when you have a sustained success-driven culture, you're going to do the things the right way. But I will say a great year for Coach Fanning and looking forward for year 2 in the AHSA.
Yeah, can't wait.
We did Smith Station. We talked about Brian Eason and what he's been able to do in his short time over Smith Station. Sleeping Giant no more. This team and these programs, starting with football under Blair Harrison, give them 3 or 4 years. I promise you they're going to be competing. I won't say state championships, but be competitive in every game, winning 6 or 7 games, which is what Smith Station should do as one of the bigger schools in our area, if not the biggest population-wise. So I firmly believe Smith Station, and under Brian Easton's leadership, his energy, his passion, and his mantra is develop and win. We were able to talk about that last week. But some of the other schools what we were able to hit includes Kendall Mills. One more time, congratulations to Kendall Mills. He is now the new citywide Director of Athletics for Muskogee County School District. Really proud of this guy in a very deserving role. There was no other person I think more qualified than to take over what Jeff Battles has built the last 12 years than his right-hand man. And now that he's taken over for Jeff Battles, I think he's going to be able to implement some things that maybe he thinks maybe can be done a little bit better and then seamlessly do all the things Jeff has just done a great job helping build in Muskogee County School District. So I cannot wait for him to take on this job. He officially starts this week. He did an amazing job, Kendall did, over at Hardaway. One of the best coaches in our area. In my opinion, he's a Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer, and he should be in the near future. He's went to a Final Four with the girls, made it to Elite 8 with the boys. This guy is a really good coach, and now he's got his protege, Kelly Ellison, winning a state championship, which was his first as an athletic director. He's made playoffs in baseball. He was really competitive this year and got football back on track with Ryan McKenzie. Basketball is always competitive. I love Kendall Mills. He is College Drive. He is Hardaway, but it's now time for him to move on. And I think the direction of Muskogee County Athletics is in good hands.
And I do want to throw this out. He's got 2 Hardaway football players drafted in the first round of the NFL draft.
He does. Marcus Smith and, of course, Michael Williams. So congratulations to Kendall. Really proud of being a friend of him and seeing his growth and seeing him being capable of taking on this job. It's going to be tough, but knowing him, knowing how hard he works, knowing what he's capable of and the ideas that he has, here comes the boom when it comes to Muskogee County Athletics, and we cannot wait to continue our partnership here as he's going to be in charge of 8 high schools, over 12 middle schools, and 30 elementary schools. It's 53 schools under his leadership. He's going to be busy, but we are excited to continue our relationship with them. So congratulations again to Kendall Mills. You missed that interview. You can see that we talked about Hardaway last year and Kelly Ellison and the rest of the successful programs and how they did. And then we talked about his new job upcoming this year and what are his plans moving forward. Then we were able to sit down with Larry Knox in Russell County. Richard, you were able to sit down with them, and we won't go too much into detail because I know that's going to be dropping this week. But Russell County, another team. And I don't think it's a coincidence, man, that Georgia Alabama Sports Live comes out in the last couple of years and you see teams like Harris County that has just been killing it and one of the talks of the state. Russell County, they made the playoffs for the first time in 25 years. Softball program's really good. Back-to-back playoffs in basketball. And you're seeing all the, everything being elevated with the campus and the baseball and the softball fields and now the indoor facility under Larry Knox. These last 4 years, he has turned Russell County into a dormant to now a respectable 6A school that has really competitive programs, and it all starts with football and Dylan Griggs, and it was awesome to be there. And now you're seeing, how about this? We're going into the offseason saying one of the top 5 teams heading into next year potentially could be Russell County.
Yeah, no question about it, because they have one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Alabama with Bryson Riggins. The passing records that he put up last year, getting Russell County to the second round of the playoffs, where they hosted a first-round playoff game for the first time since 1998. And you talk about what Coach Dylan Griggs has done since he took over the program in 2021. Before Griggs got there, Russell County was lucky to even win a game. And it was very tough, and I know that the fans were hungry for that. They wanted to get the program back to the way it was, and I just think that he has just done a fantastic job, just not only him, but building up his staff as well, because we've seen members of his staff go on and get other opportunities, and really that fan base deserved it.
And, Coach Knox didn't make the hire for Griggs.
No, not at all.
But he gave him everything he needed to be successful.
Exactly.
And has not been in his way and not micromanaged him. He has been the perfect leader for Russell County Athletics. You're going to hear that entire conversation coming up this week. Richard, you did a great job. I was there helping record that, and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of that conversation. So great job. Can't wait for that. We did have an interview, and we broke news. We'll talk about this right before we go to break. The basketball court at Calvary is now being renamed under the winningest coach in Calvary basketball history, a guy that I played against. His son, Grant Smithwick, was my trainer and coach as he helped me develop and get ready for the next level in college. And the Smithwick family has meant a lot to me. Mm-hmm. Steve Smithwick helped recruit me to West Georgia Tech as a guy that wasn't even my coach, and actually try to put me in the direction of LaGrange and Point University if I wanted to go there. Having someone like that didn't even coach you. And that was the big thing that Steve Smith said. He said, you know what? Yes, the wins matter. He took us to our only state championship basketball history. He's a winningest coach. He's helped develop players to the next level. It's that he's helped players from other schools. He's helped players from other sports within Calvary. And he's given back to the school, more so than just coaching, making sure Calvary can be successful in whatever sport they're taking on. They know they got the backing of Steve Smithwick and his family, and I think there was not a better man that court should have been named after. It was a no-brainer. I agree with Steve Smith, and I was glad to be there as they broke the news last week. Now, our AD conversation, we know we had some technical difficulties. Many people were trying to listen, and the audio was kind of messing up. I'm going to take full ownership on that, so Steve, don't kill me. So we're going to have that interview airing sometime next week, so bear with us. We will have that, I promise you, and we're going to talk about Steve Smithwick, court being named after him, and all of Calvary sports. And in their first year of the GIAA, I'll tell you the premise of the conversation that we did have was that, you know what, there were a lot of learning experiences. Now they know what it takes to win at that level. It's one thing to see it from the outside. All right, we saw Pacelli and Brookstone play against these GIAA schools. We did our research. It's one thing doing that. It's another thing to actually play against those GIAA, have a GIAA schedule with all the sports, to travel, know what it takes, the first-class operation in which they play their state championships. So they know in the major sport like football, that was a year that, hey, we'll take it off the chin. We know what we need now, and we're expecting big things this upcoming year. So They may have not won any state championships last year, but they were competitive in softball, made it to the tournament, Richard. Basketball made the playoffs. In both for boys, not for girls, but girls were really close. And remember, they had to replace their leading scorer midway through the year.
Yes, they did.
Baseball made the playoffs, and if they had gotten a better seeding, they may have been even had the right trajectory to make it to the state championship or make a little bit deeper run. So volleyball playoffs as well. Soccer boys team lost in the last 45 seconds of a game against Stratford. They would have made it to state. Girls are really competitive. Calvary Athletics, I promise you next year, you're going to see a lot of teams competing for state championships. But all in all, though, congratulations again to Steve Smithwick.
Yeah, well-deserved. I can't wait to get out there and live stream a game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live and see that beautiful court that says Steve Smithwick court. Well-deserved for a great coach. Calvary Athletics did a great job. In my opinion, for the first year in the GIAA, they were competitive in some sports, but they got a taste of what the GIAA is all about. I mean, they were dominating sports in the gaps, a lot less teams, still some very talented teams in the gaps, but the GIAAs with the likes of Stratford Academy and First Presbyterian Day, Tatnall Square, and of course in town with Brookstone and Pacelli. Calvary has faced tough competition, but this is really what makes Calvary going to be great, because they're going to be lumped in with Brookstone and Pacelli, and we get these rivalries, and they're getting the athletes to their school, and they're just going to continue to improve. And I can't wait to see how Calvary fares in year 2 in the GIAA.
I can't either, and you're going to have that interview coming up in a week. Cannot wait. Congratulations again to Steve Smithwick. The court has been named after him at Calvary, and this was a no-brainer. We're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to wrap up the show talking Clingstones. Also, what we got coming up this week is this dead week around for a lot of the teams, so not a lot happening live streaming-wise. So we're going to update you on what's going on and what we got coming up in the future. Here's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show from CNAW Studios. We'll be right back after this.
Here comes more big rigs, loaded with new GMC trucks and SUVs to Glenn Smith in Opelika. Choose from a huge selection of full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,000 off, and enjoy no payments until September. Plug into the future with the exciting new GMC Sierra EV, now with a 36-month lease for just $799 a month. That's right, just $799 a month. Glenn Smith GMC, now celebrating 33 years. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Jones with the Sports Visions Morning Show for the best in local, regional, and national sports news. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
You can find the Sports Visions Morning Show on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify by typing in the Sports Visions Morning Show, and download the Sports Visions radio app right now in your app store today.
Sports Vision 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible. To be able to cover these 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy, and Gordy Eye Care for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Here comes more big rigs, loaded with new GMC trucks and SUVs to Glenn Smith in Opelika. Choose from a huge selection of full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,000 off, and enjoy no payments until September. Plug into the future with the exciting new GMC Sierra EV, now with a 36-month lease for just $799 a month. That's right, just $799 a month. Glenn Smith GMC, now celebrating 33 years. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Jones with the Sports Visions Morning Show for the best in local, regional, and national sports news. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
You can find the Sports Visions Morning Show on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify by typing in the Sports Visions Morning Show,
and download the Sports Visions radio app right now in your app store today.
Sports Vision 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
It's a great day for a new Chevrolet from Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take to the road in a rugged new full-size Chevy Silverado with discounts up to $12,500 off MSRP. Or plug into the future with the innovative Chevy Blazer EV. Lease yours today for just $299 a month. That's right, just $299 a month. People from all over the USA are coming to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Sorry about that extended break, everyone. Welcome back here to the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Thrift Barringer, Big Rich. We're here. We're live. We're local. And we're on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We talked United. We did State of the Program that we've updated you on. This week, we'll have Russell County dropping State of the Program, Northside, Columbus State, and potentially maybe one more. So we're going to have a bunch of State of the Programs dropping this week. In terms of games, we won't have any. It's dead week for a lot of schools. They're not allowed to practice, do games, or anything. So with that being said, this week, guess what? The only live stream we got, Columbus United, July 5th. So we will be there on Saturday. Outside of that will be shows and the State of the Program. Kind of a light week for us. Moving forward, we'll have more State of the Programs. We'll have more episodes in terms of pre-gaming. I mean, not pre-gaming, but previewing the upcoming shows. Even though we got a big pregame show, High School Game Day, we're excited about making bigger and better than ever coming up here this season, Rich. But not a lot in terms of games. So don't expect here in the next couple of weeks. I don't think we'll have much of anything going on in terms of live games. With United ending potentially, maybe they have Parks and Rec have their adult basketball league. We may do their championship just because we don't have anything else going, but we really don't have a lot. So more about content and dropping shows, interviews, and we're excited. Make sure to like and subscribe because coming in August, before you know, actually a couple days before the end of August, really the end of July, is when softball and volleyball are going to be picking up.
Right.
So we're already going to be live streaming before you know it. So don't worry about it. We're not going anywhere. And like I said, we'll have more content. We'll be dropping. The Clingstones had a tough stretch against Biloxi. Biloxi was the best team in the first half, and they're looking like the best team here in the second half, Richard.
Yeah, they only won 2 out of the 6. So right now they are 2-4 in the second half. They get ready to take on Montgomery for the rare 3-game series. And then they come back to Synovus Park July the 3rd, 4th, and 5th to take on the Montgomery Biscuits. And they do this with Montgomery because it's only an hour and a half away, so you don't have to worry about the whole 6-game stretch. And plus, if you're wanting to go see the Clingstones on the road, you could travel over to Montgomery to Riverwalk Stadium and see them. But they're just trying to get back on track. I know that it's not about the wins and losses; it's about the development of the players at the minor league level. And we know that Ethan Workinger is probably just going to get that call up to AAA Gwinnett just at any minute now. Ian Mejia, he has just been an awesome pitcher. Ethan Workinger, Blake Burkhalter, they've had some pretty good pitchers. Manager Cody Cabela has done a good job just building this team. But really, it's about the fans and the support. It's still showing up and showing out at Synovus Park. They're drawing close to 3,000, 4,000 fans every single game. I saw an article where they already broke like an attendance record for minor league baseball in the last time that they kept this record. And so the community has been out and supporting the Clingstones, and we're still going to be supporting the Clingstones. I'm trying to get my family to a game. We were supposed to go last week, but we're going to go ahead and choose the week of July 10th, 11th when they play Pensacola. I think that they're going to have a great time, and I can't wait to get back out to the ballpark.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, again, I've still been a success. I know the first half ended not the way you wanted to in terms of wins and losses, but in terms of the way the community has rallied around and supported the Clingstones, I still say success, but let's hope that translates to wins here in this second half. But this first year's been maybe a learning curve for the Braves organization, not just with the minor leagues, but obviously the actual team, because look how bad they're playing right now getting beat 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. And I am, again, saying if you're Anthopoulos, why in the heck are you going to be a buyer at the trade deadline when you're 9 games out, double digits out in the division, and the wild card is looking like it's going to take an incredible run to even get into the playoffs, which, again, if you get in, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
I'm just not a believer in this team. They've been very inconsistent all year long, and aside from Ronald Acuna Jr., who's only played a month of baseball, I don't know what to think about them. But the Clingstones obviously kind of been in that same model and mode when talking about the Atlanta Braves and stuff. So I know the All-Star game's coming up. Kind of be a great time for reset for the Braves.
Yes.
We will be in SEC Media Days for Sports Visions, which you can listen to tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me and DJ Jones. Richard, you'll be in studio as well. Excited about being in there in the morning again on the Sports Vision Morning Show. But we'll be covering SEC Media Days for that, and that's when the All-Star games are going to be in Atlanta. Ronald Acuna Jr. saying he's going to be in the Home Run Derby, which, thank God, this was a huge move because that is a event that many people don't tune in and watch, and now you actually got local products who makes people want to maybe come out and support and watch the Home Run Derby. But what's your thoughts on the Braves so far, man?
Well, I hope they get some players in the All-Star game. I know that Ronald Acuna Jr., I don't know if he's going to get enough fan votes, and he hasn't played enough games to get selected as a reserve, but maybe a Chris Sale, when he comes back from injury, he might be a starting pitcher in the All-Star game. Matt Olson, maybe Austin Riley. I'm very disappointed with the way the Braves are playing. I mean, come on, 17-0 against the Phillies. I mean, that's absolutely awful.
And listen, what we can
it's
do,
embarrassing.
We can come on here unsolicited hot take, and I'll drop some of those throughout the week, and I just can go on a rant, but it's a rant that is unnecessary. It's not changing this team, and I'm not going to waste my breath, my time, my sanity, losing my patience watching a travesty with this much talent and not be in the playoff race and having your best player playing the best he's played in 2 years. And yet, you're still not even close to making the playoffs right now. I'm not going to do it, Richard. I'm not going to get fired up. But I want to end it with this, guys. The Atlanta Hawks fleeced the New Orleans Pelicans again. At least we got another front office that we can believe in. I don't know about the Falcons. They think they're smarter than what they are. The Braves, Anthopoulos has been good, but then again, you won one championship and you've had a team that should have won at least multiple. Not saying he's overrated, but I'm saying, all right, I'm starting to like, where are the wins coming in? I'm glad we're relevant, but this is the same thing that happened in the 90s and the early 2000s under John Sherholtz. We said this was going to be different. Anthopoulos was going to bring multiple championships. Where are they at? But the Hawks, with Onsi, because they were trying to go get Masai Ujiri, who just left from the Toronto Raptors. He's the one that pulled off that Kawhi Leonard trade. He's the one that drafted Nikola Jokic. They thought about going to get him. They said, you know, I'm going to keep Onsa. Onsa then turned around and traded the number 13 pick, what was Derek Queen, for the number 23 pick. And you're like, okay, what is that? I mean, you're going back. I mean, what did you get out of it? A couple second-round picks and that number 23? Yeah, we drafted Asa Newell, a Georgia pick that's got a lot of upside, and he don't have to play right now because you already got a Kongwu and Kristaps Porzingis. But it was the fact that you got an unprotected first-round pick from the Pelicans next year who have been a travesty of an organization. They have been trash. They look like they're going to have another losing season. If you're the Pelicans, you basically said, we're probably going to lose next year. We drafted Derek Queen because we may trade Zion. If you trade Zion, that means you're going to suck. And you gave an unprotected first-round pick that could be a top 4 to a team in the Hawks that potentially could be a top 3 seed next year in a wide-open East. Hawks fleeced them again. They fleeced them last year with DeJounte Murray and getting Dyson Daniels, and now they did it once more. I love where the Hawks are at this year, and they're playing with house money because this year they can say, you know what, let's swing for the fences. Again, wide open East. Who knows who's going to be the champion? So the Hawks have a legitimate chance. On top of that, when talking about this Hawks team, Porzingis will be off the books. You can get rid of Trae Young, and you got corner pieces in Jalen Johnson, Ricochet, and Dyson Daniels to go and get another free agent. There's not, I think, an organization in the East that many people would rather have roster-wise and set up for the next few years than the Atlanta Hawks. Thank you, finally, for getting a competent executive office and front office that now has a setup to be at least contenders and maybe even champions. So I just want to throw that out there. We'll have more time later this week with free agency happening July 1st, so in 2 days. But I just wanted to say, I don't really care about the Asa Newell pick. The trade alone shows you the difference between good organizations, bad organizations, and really great. And Hawks are flirting with that great with the last 2 years, the moves they made. And finally, maybe they have a roster that can get them in the championship. I just watched the Pacers make it. Do not tell me the Atlanta Hawks cannot make it to an NBA Finals. I just watched the Thunder win it all. Do not tell me the Atlanta Hawks can't make it. I need to see it, but it starts with trades like they just made.
Drift, I know you're fired up about the Hawks because
I'm really
that's your
fired
team. And if you're a Hawks fan, I mean, you witnessed the Hawks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals in
That was fool's
2015
gold.
and 2021. And who knows what would happen if Trae Young didn't step on a ref's ankle. But with that being said, I agree they have some pieces that is the future of the Hawks with Jalen Johnson coming back from injury. Dyson Daniels is your most improved player. Zachary Rizachet is the overall number 1 pick. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, Okongwu, he was a 6th pick overall. I don't know if Kristaps Porzingis is healthy and he's putting up 20 and 10.
Listen to this
that's a
starting
good-
5, Rich.
Oh.
Porzingis, 20 and 10. Jalen Johnson, 20 and 10. Rizachet, who would be the starter right now, is an D and 3 that can give you close to 15. Dyson Daniels, the best defending 2 guard in the NBA, was almost Defensive Player of the Year. And Trae Young puts up 24 and 11 with Okongwu coming off the bench. Yeah, I really like this roster.
Yeah, as long as Trae Young can cut back on his turnovers, he's a defensive liability. So you're gonna have to try to find maybe a guard that can come in and stop a point guard, because I think
You
Trae
got
Young
him.
is
Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels.
You already got the guy that can save
you
him.
got him.
You can put him on just like Clay did with Stephen Curry. We can talk all that
Oh, yeah.
all week long, but I just wanted to say, really impressed what happened with the Atlanta Hawks. So
Yeah,
thank
me
y'all
too.
so much for watching. Again, Russell County, Richard Holzer will be sitting down with Larry Knox. We're sitting with an athletic director to say the program coming up this week and more. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to YouTube. We'll see you next time on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. Thank y'all so much. Good night.